Good afternoon. Welcome to City Line. I'm Jackie Hall.
And I'm Dan Henson. If you're single and tired of one-night stands, then you won't want to miss today's City Line.
Barbara Miles, publisher of Chocolate Singles magazine, will be here. And Barbara believes that today's black singles have many more options than just singles bars and discos.
We'll also be joined by Denise Lloyd of the Washington chapter of Chocolate Singles.
Providing quality health care for inner city residents, whose concern is it? I'm T. Montier, and we'll talk about that.
My name is Tim Watts, and today on the entertainment page for our music videos, we've got Herbie Hancock and Ray Parker Jr., and we've got a Teddy Pendergrass update.
When we talk about chocolate singles, we don't mean Hershey bars and Mr. Good bars either.
No, we mean the thousands of single blacks who are looking for stable relationships and stimulating social activities. Stay with us and learn more about chocolate singles. Boy, a nice big audience today.
Oh,
and,
yes.
You know, I thought winter was all over.
Well, I think we may have a couple more days to sneak in on us, unfortunately.
So. Yeah.
Well, welcome to City Line. As we told you in our opening, we've got a special discussion coming up on chocolate singles, which we, of course, talked at length about a little bit anyway. But as a part of our Black History Tribute, we have that coming up as well. We took our cameras to the home of the new NAACP National President, Enoya McMillan, and looked into her private world to find out a lot more about her than meets the public eye. Since 1909, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the nation's oldest civil rights organization, has led a never-ending battle for racial equality and freedom throughout the USA. Since 1935, Enoya P. McMillan has served the Baltimore chapter of the NAACP with dedication, leadership, and wisdom. She's bright, she's intelligent, she's courageous. And at the age of 79, she has made her way from the local struggles for civil rights to the national forefront as the first woman president of the NAACP.
They were convinced that when it was necessary to take a stand, they could count on me to take a stand. I didn't do much talking. I kept quiet quite a bit, but if something really came up that was important, then I talked. And they liked the stands that I took.
Does this mean that Enoya McMillan is going to be her own woman as national president?
Well, I've been it for many years.
The tireless attitude of this retired school administrator has allowed her to make great strides in battling segregation throughout Baltimore and the state of Maryland. Whether a legal fight to equalize pay for Maryland state teachers or to picket Tommy Tuckers for discrimination, Enoya McMillan has remained on the firing line.
Segregation was seemingly so ingrained until it seemed as if we were just knocking our heads against a brick wall. You look around, the motormen and the conductors on the bus lines were white. In the banks, everybody was white. Wherever you went, and you could get an education in typing, shorthand, what have you. When you came out, there wasn't any place for you to work.
Sure, a lot of young people these days do not understand what it was like in those days. How did it feel to have to sit in the back of the bus or not be able to get the job that you felt you were qualified for?
To put it mildly, it was frustrating. And sometimes it angered you, especially when you knew that you had qualifications superior to the others. There was a deep resentment, but you know, you burn yourself up getting angry all the time and you're not getting anywhere. You have to turn that anger into constructive channels.
In appreciation for her hard work and dedication to the community, Mrs. McMillan is constantly awarded trophies and plaques by various community and public service organizations.
May the road's last turn be your best.
Mrs. McMillan has been president of the Baltimore chapter since 1970. One of her objectives as national president is to sensitize America to the role the NAACP has played and continues to play.
Some whites, for example, don't know that this is a more democratic America because of the NAACP. We haven't fought against the powers that be. We have tried to make our Constitution a document that's being implemented.
When she's not at the forefront of civil rights, Mrs. McMillan relaxes in a more traditional role as wife, mother, and grandmother. And whenever her hectic schedule allows, she finds the time to bake her favorite pies.
Mrs. McMillan, when it's all over, what would you like for us to remember about you?
I like the fact that I have not mortgaged any opportunities for my personal benefit. Like, you understand what I mean? I can look myself in the eye, and I can look my pupils in the eye, and my co-workers, and they all know that I have not been working for Enola McMillan. I have gotten a living out of it, but I have been working to help black people. And I get a peculiar satisfaction out of that. And every now and then when I run into some of my former pupils, and they say, "Oh my, so nice to see you. I couldn't understand what you were all about then, but I understand now." And of course there's some who did. But it's the satisfaction of knowing that I have been able to help some people.
Mrs. Miller is just a fantastic person, and I know you had a lot of fun doing the interview, didn't you?
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed meeting her, and that's
such a warm
living
person.
history, too.
Yeah.
We often do history that's, in quotation marks, dead, but that's living history.
Yeah. Coming up next on City Line is Chocolate Singles with Barbara Miles and Denise Lloyd, and right after this. No? I want to start off a little light. We have a lot of fun on City Line. Joining us now for a discussion of Chocolate Singles is Barbara Miles, who is the publisher of Chocolate Singles magazine and editor-in-chief, as I understand it also.
Both jobs.
Thank
Chief
you.
cook,
Welcome.
bottle
And down from New
watch,
York today.
all of them.
Denise Lloyd is the coordinator for the D.C. chapter of Washington, D.C. chapter
Right.
of Chocolate Singles and For Singles Only.
Yes.
What's the relationship between Chocolate Singles and For Singles Only? What's the...
Well, actually, Chocolate Singles is two things. It's first a magazine that is, we like to say, the who, what, and where for where single people. It's a national lifestyle magazine, and it's the first of its kind anywhere.
Yeah, but
and
what's the relationship
FSO
between the two?
International is the club component. It's the travel and leisure club.
Mm-hmm.
So that you have first the magazine and then the club for live interaction.
All right, well, let's take a little bit of a look at the whole scene. We recently took our City Line cameras to LeMay's nightclub in Washington, D.C. to meet some of the area's chocolate singles and to find out what the chocolate single atmosphere is all about.
In the nation's capital, it is estimated that there are 243,000 black single adults. And although there are numerous single bars and night spots, many Washingtonians find it difficult to meet other singles. Enter chocolate singles. The who, what, and where for aware people. And the results, fun and frolicking functions to satisfy the young, the mature, and the restless. Washington coordinator Denise Lloyd.
People have been calling us constantly. I mean, we've got 2 phone lines and it's constantly ringing about us. I think the response is going to be even better than New York. It's going to be a little bit different because D.C. is intrinsically different. We're into extreme bourgeois. We're so close to the power, I guess, that we have a higher demand. So we have to kind of make sure that everything's done on a real class act. Not that it's not done on a class act in New York, but the requirement's a little bit higher here. And I guess because you have your constant receptions on the Hill and everything, that they're used to having everybody be who is everybody around.
Chocolate Singles also gets the stamp of approval from man-sharing expert Audrey Chapman.
Certainly going out and socializing is better than staying at home and hoping that the prince will come along and know that you're in there. So it's very important to come out to activities like this that Chocolate Singles puts on to meet other people.
About the chocolate singles, what do they think of the entire concept?
I think it's probably the most exciting thing that's ever happened in this area.
When you can go to a place and you have a sense of being one with the people that are in there, it definitely takes away from the tension and the pressure of saying, well, I wonder what this person is like, or would I like that person?
I came here this evening, you know, anticipating.
People need a way to get together, and this is a very good concept.
I'm sure some telephone numbers are flowing around somewhere.
Too many times here in D.C., it's a cliquish type of town, and unless you are in a certain type of clique, certain groups, then you really don't meet people of a professional caliber.
That was a look at a gathering in D.C. of the chocolate singles. And I'd like to ask Barbara a question. I'm chocolate.
Yes.
I'm single.
You're single. Can we sign you up now?
What would I get from the group that I couldn't get from any other group that exists for unattached people?
All right. Well, Jackie, black singles have been slow to come into the single scene. In fact, we've been conspicuously absent from it. And it's because we didn't see ourselves. I think in our social interactions, we seek a certain kind of cultural or racial affinity, and the other singles organizations just were not offering this. We didn't invent the concept. There's some magazines, there's some clubs that have been around for years and years and years. But I guess the light bulb went on for me when we had been exploring the idea, talking about it. Why doesn't somebody do anything about it? People are having, other single groups are having a whole lot of fun. They're doing these fantastic activities. They're going skiing. They're having all kinds of parties and social gatherings. Why don't we? But what really cinched it for me was that one week I was watching a national news broadcast, and they did a film feature on the single scene. And I watched it for the whole week, and I kept waiting. Oh, wait, they're going to have the black people on next week. Oh, wait, well, tomorrow. And throughout that whole week, I only saw one black face. And it was a person who happened to be on a weekend that the camera happened to pick up on the dance floor. And then I thought, well, all right, let's stop talking.
So there is a need, obviously.
There is a need, yes. And there's a need. It's not a problem that's just endemic to the black community. Everybody apparently is experiencing something of the same kinds of problems. We just, I guess, were a little slower moving to come into the whole thing.
Okay, let me remind everybody at home that you can join in our discussion by calling City Line at 481-1313. And, of course, we'll have our studio audience involved a little bit later. But I got a problem, Barbara and Denise. I mean, I've read the tabloid. It is upscale. I mean, that's the new word that's coming around. It's upscale like Bloomingdale's. It's upscale like Cosmopolitan magazine is upscale. It's designed for a particular segment of the market. And the fact is that most chocolates are not upscale.
Well,
Most of them are poor.
let me just say this. Chocolate, we say, is a flavor. Fine chocolate is universally appreciated. So I don't think that we are excluding anybody. It certainly wasn't the intention. But people, it's been a kind of, or it's the kind of self-selection process, and the people who have picked up the magazine just happen to fit your, quote, upscale description, a word that I don't particularly like, but they are mostly middle income. They are, I guess, better educated than the general population. But isn't this the consumers of magazines generally?
Well, it's also the consumers of advertisers, right?
If you formed
I mean, it's
a
the people
club,
that your advertisers want to read the magazine,
if you
right?
formed a club that was a companion or a subsidiary of a magazine, wouldn't you for any magazine attract the people who read?
Attract the people who the advertisers want to see. It seems to me the way to make money. We're going to continue our discussion on chocolate singles, Bob.
Sure.
We're going to come right back.
We'll
We're going to continue our discussion on chocolate singles right after this.
Now here's this week's community calendar.
My name is Russell Marcus, and I am the 1984 Muscular Dystrophy poster child. Towson State students will be dancing in a 24-hour dance-a-thon to benefit the Muscular Dystrophy Association on March 16th and 17th from 6 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can help us raise funds for this worthy cause by sponsoring a dancer. To sponsor a dancer, you may contact the Muscular Dystrophy Association at 252-5910.
I'm Pamela Shaw, representing the Black Law Students Association of the University of Maryland School of Law. We're sponsoring our 9th annual awards banquet on Saturday, March 3rd from 6:30 p.m. till 11 p.m. at the Baltimore Hilton. We will honor Judge Thomas Noel as a Distinguished Alumni, and Raymond Haysberg will receive the Distinguished Community Service Award. The Honorable Perrin Mitchell will be our guest speaker. Admission is $25, and you may receive ticket information by calling 625-0458.
Hello, I'm Reverend William A. Gregg of the Shiloh Apostolic Faith Church, 2121 Jefferson Street, and I'm having my 30th year singing anniversary on Sunday, March 4, 1984 at 3 o'clock at the Cabot Educational Center, 200 East North Avenue. I'm sponsoring a benefit program for the sheltered housing for the elderly. Please come and help us have a good time. We're having major groups and local groups from the city. Thank you.
If your group or organization would like to announce an event, please write us in care of City Line, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, Baltimore, Maryland, 21211, or call us for further information at 466-0013 between the hours of 9 and 5. Long break, we got into a discussion about all of this being for the upscale black. And Denise, you had some other points you wanted. Barbara, you had some more points you wanted to make about that.
All right. What I wanted to explain then is that the price of participating in Chocolate Singles FSO activities doesn't preclude anybody's participation, because a subscription is a nominal $750 per year. And I think that's one of the best bargains around.
But with the prescription, I'm going to read about Nassau
and most events range in price from $10 to $15. Local events, you don't have to go to Nassau. But if you're going to Nassau, why not go with us? You might have a better time.
Let's bring some of our home viewers in. Hi there, you're live on City Line.
Hi, my name is Sharon Montgomery. I would like to know whether there's any type participation for chocolate singles for handicapped participants, and if so, what type?
Good question. Participation for handicap singles.
We haven't specifically designed any activities for the handicapped population. That may be something to think about. I'm sure that handicapped persons are included but not as a separate and discrete entity.
You've done some marketing studies. Has that indicated that there are particular groups of singles that you need to direct your, Catholic singles, Protestant singles, handicapped singles? Are there different groups that you might want to say?
We're directed to chocolate singles.
Okay.
By definition.
But are there other groups maybe that handle that?
No, I think that there are many organizations that are already functioning for some of the other ethnic and religious groups, but we were filling a specific vacuum. And
Okay.
so.
Got a question from the audience. Yes, sir.
A question that more or less stems from a comment that Mr. Henson made. At a time like this, when black people are moving from the middle class, quote unquote, and moving down economically, and they're in the state that they are in socially, economically, and politically, and there's as much fractionalism as there is now, and considering that most black people are not professionals, do you think that this is really the way to bring the black family together, and to actually, are black people likely to find lasting relationships in an establishment such as yours?
Denise, could we have you take that question?
Okay, well, there are no guarantees in life on anything, but we as black people have always relied on the church, okay? And we're now going into the church fills a large void for us, but there are other alternatives, and Chocolate Singles is providing that. We're providing social areas that you can relate to each other. And not only on the social basis, Chocolate Singles also helps you in professionally. We have what is called a networking party, where people can actually have booths and to show their wares, whether it be artistic or whatever. And that helps you kind of requiring or developing a support system in your field of business. And I think for young people graduating out of school, we do need that support system.
Denise, let me ask you something else. Contrast Chocolate Singles as a social setting with the single bar scene, for instance.
Well, one of the things that Barbara had thought about in developing is Chocolate Singles events, a woman can go into it without feeling like she's being picked up. We always make sure that any event that we have, a woman can go into it by herself with a security, without feeling like she's there on what they call the meat market. And I think it's a social environment, but it's also a kind of a family environment. We come in, people say, I'm from Chocolate Singles, and they're really happy about it. I subscribe and I read about it. They feel like they're part of a club. It's not just a bar. It's not just a bar. It's not just a party or one flash thing. They're part of an ongoing 12-month affair. There's something somewhere every month almost.
And people come to the club not because they come thinking, I'm going to make out, I'm going to take somebody home with me. They come and they make friends. And the activities are varied enough that they're an end in themselves. So I think that is very different, and I think that's one of the reasons why black people have shied away from the singles bars. Now, I don't know if you have many singles bars in Baltimore, but we do have them in New York and in an abundance. But we don't have any black singles bars, and when you go into them, I could name them, and I could name about 10 or so. But if you go into them, you may see one or two black faces here and there. And a black person entering that scene would have to be looking for a specifically interracial experience. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why blacks have shied away from the single bar scene.
All righty, we've got so much more to talk about in terms of Chocolate Singles. If you'd like to talk with us, stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
We're back on City Line with our discussion about Chocolate Singles with Barbara Miles and Denise Lloyd, and we're going to go to the phones.
Okay. Hi, do you have a comment to make or a question?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yes, I'd like to know, okay, I'm a janitor, and I like to get involved in some of the single activities as well. Now, would I fit into that type of crowd or atmosphere? And so, well, if not, why not?
Ready for the game.
I think you would fit very well. And I'd love to send you information on chocolate singles, or give it now if I can.
Well, we'll do it.
We're going to do it before the end of the show.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Okay.
We're going to try one more call from home. Hi, are you chocolate or single?
Hello?
Yes, are you chocolate or single?
Chocolate and single.
All right.
Have a question?
I would like to know what do you have to offer for the older woman between 40 and 45 who's probably been married before and divorced?
That's not old.
And
It's not
is there any place in Baltimore that other than the singles bar? Because the singles bar turns the more mature woman off.
Okay.
All right.
Barbara, Denise?
Okay, our population is, we say, anyone from 18 to 80 is welcome. And we do span a very wide age range. But specifically about activities in Baltimore, I'll have to defer to the people in the area.
Our guests, by the way, caller, are from New York. Barbara's from New York and Denise is from D.C., so they couldn't answer about Baltimore's scene. Maybe we should start our own chapter here. But
we are in D.C., and Denise is the coordinator,
Okay.
so Baltimore is not too far to travel.
Okay, we had a question from the audience. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, my name is Eleanor Richardson, and Miss Miles, you've pretty well informed me the atmosphere of the club, but what I'm interested in is what can one get from your magazine as being a subscriber?
Okay. I'm really glad you asked that, because I don't want it conveyed that Chocolate Singles is just about relationships, because it isn't. It's about some of everything, that single people, like everybody else, are broad, they're multifaceted, they're multidimensional, and we want the magazine to be about some of everything that you're about and that I'm about. So we talk about politics, we talk about Jesse Jackson running for president, our cover story in the March issue. We talk about making and managing money. We talk about health and personal development and some of everything. We think the whole range of interests.
So it's about lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle magazine. Yes.
Okay, thanks for that
you.
question.
Barbara, the question just crossed my mind. I mean, you chose to publish a magazine about black people at the same time that pretty much publications for blacks, by blacks, are pretty much on the downswing. I mean, what did you know? What do you know? And why is Chocolate Singles growing?
It's not what I knew. What I knew, it's who I know. And I just have to say, God, he loves me.
But why are people buying Chocolate Singles when they're not buying other black publications? I mean, the National Leader, for example, just went under, which was an excellent publication, I thought. But people just weren't buying it to the extent.
Well, I can't tell you why they didn't buy the National Leader, but they are buying Chocolate Singles because I think that we hit a vacuum. Like I said, there are singles publications that are thriving, such as Intro out of California and along the East Coast. But there were no publications targeted specifically to a black singles audience.
I've read in some of the material that you provided that a lot of the Chocolate Singles felt a bit isolated, didn't they? Do you feel that you're meeting the need to bring them together, Denise? I see you're shaking your head.
Yes, in fact, in the article that I did on our February issue, a number of people, I'm talking about professional or non-professional, people have come up to me and said, oh, I'm so glad you brought the magazine into D.C. because there's such a need, because there's a need for singles to meet each other in a safe environment, okay? The caller had asked about bars. We don't really have affairs in just bars, okay? We have affairs in a number of different places. One of the places we're hoping to have it in May would be the Children's Museum. Different places where you can just interact without feeling like you're in a bar environment.
So the atmosphere is removed from that bar.
Right, and some of the fairs that we have range from, for instance, we had a swim party in New York, and we had swimming for the teenagers and jazz for people who just wanted to jazz, plus you could have disco. You know, young people from 19 or 20 on, you could just really It was all, and you could be 65. We had people 65 there.
We are unfortunately running out of time,
Okay.
and I want to make sure that I give you an opportunity to tell us how to get a hold of you. Barbara, first of all, if somebody wants to get a hold of Chocolate Singles magazine in this area, how do they do it?
Okay, we are on some newsstands in Baltimore. If you don't
Chocolate
find
Singles.
us, right? Yes. If you don't find us, you can write to us. The address is P.O. Box 333, Jamaica, New York, and the zip is 11413. Or you can call us, area code 212-624-6247.
Denise, how about those people who want to participate in activities in D.C.?
Okay, we'll have a number very soon. We're just opening up our office, and I would say by Thursday.
In the meantime, they can write to Barbara's address, and she'll let them know. Okay.
Absolutely.
That's great. I would venture to say there is a need in this area as well for chocolate singles. In the meantime, we could perhaps share DC's singles.
Come to Nassau.
Come to Nassau.
Thanks a lot for being with us today on City Live. We'll be back with the Newscap right after this.
Good afternoon. Topping today's Newscap. Healthcare in the black community. Receiving quality healthcare should be more of a right than a privilege in any given community. But whose concern is it to make sure that quality medical care is available to minorities here in Baltimore? One such concerned organization is the Maryland Congress on Health, Law, and Economics. This morning, I spoke with Shirley Nathan Pulliam, chair of the Congress, to get some background information on the group and on their concerns with proposed changes, operating changes at the University of Maryland Hospital.
The Maryland Black Congress on Health, Law, and Economics is supported by 10 professional organizations, some of which are the Monumental Medical Association, Black Nurses Association, the Maryland Dental Association, Black Alliance on Mental Health, the various organizations, Black Psychiatrists, and other groups, the hub organizations.
Now, you have numerous concerns, but I understand that one of your major concerns right now has to do with this new governance proposal at the University of Maryland Hospital, where the hospital would be taken from, a public-operated institution to a privately-operated institution, and I understand you have some concerns about that.
We do have some concerns. I think the concerns come about because the organization was formulated to be apprised on issues and propose laws that impact greatly on us as a people and our economical growth. And some of those issues are, if the University of Maryland does in fact becomes private, how it will impact on the poor and indigent population.
Now, I understand that to get a little bit specific, you're concerned that the health care that is provided to the area residents who live in that area, the vicinity of the University of Maryland, they wouldn't be able to get the primary care?
Yes, the emphasis on the new proposals would be putting more emphasis on tertiary rather than primary care.
What does that mean?
And primary means, when you become acutely ill and go to institution, a lot of those will not be taken care of as it has been in the past. Some of the clinics will not be there, and there will be more into specialties.
So where will those patients go? They would have to be farmed out to other area hospitals?
It has been said that they will be opening new community centers, and some of them will be taken care of in those facilities. But
another of your concerns has to do with the number of black professionals that are employed at the University of Maryland, and I understand that you've had meetings with officials there. What was discussed, and what is your concern there as it relates to black professionals?
We have many concerns. We have had developed questions and formulated letters to address some of our issues. The University of Maryland, there's some serious concerns because the University of Maryland in the past have never been sensitive to promoting black physicians, black middle managers, providing positions for them to grow in their organization. I think realistically they probably have one full-time tenured position that we are aware of. There may be about 15 part-time professional positions.
So the Maryland Black Congress has made its intentions, has made its concerns known to members of the University of Maryland as well as your elected officials.
Oh, definitely, we have. We have sent letters to all the legislative members of the Legislative Black Caucus and also to the University of Maryland Vice Chancellor.
Employees' rights and minority set-aside language are also concerns of the Congress. Pulliam adds anyone interested in supporting the Congress in their concerns with the University of Maryland should contact their legislators via phone or letter writing right now. The bill that will change the University of Maryland from a public-operated institution to a private one was heard in Annapolis again yesterday. A bill prohibiting Maryland State Treasurer from depositing state money in banks and other institutions that have outstanding loans to the South African government or any national corporation of South Africa comes up for a hearing this Friday in Annapolis, sponsored by Delegate Howard Pete Rawlings. The bill is not Maryland's first act against the South African apartheid system. A similar measure to the current bank bill had been introduced 2 years ago by former Delegate Walter Dean. However, at that time, it was not passed. Graduating high school students and undergraduate college students. Here's some encouraging financial news. The National Urban League is once again sponsoring its annual essay contest. Winners of the contest will get a $1,000 grant to the institution of their choice. This year's essay theme is A Minority Perspective on Education as a Challenge in a Free, Competitive Society. More information about that contest may be had by contacting the Baltimore Urban League office at 523-8150. Competition deadline is March 31st. Marriage is a very personal arrangement between two people that most look upon with favor. But as Robin McIntosh reports, when one is white and one is black and they are married, then the reactions of others can be quite disturbing.
Nearly a half-dozen residents in the Lincolnia section of Ben Salem Township, Bucks County, awoke this morning to discover they'd been targets of a traditionally racially motivated attack, cross burnings. One of the victims is Floyd Darden. He's lived in Ben Salem Township for 3 years. He teaches music in the school district, and he says he can't believe someone lit a burning cross on his front lawn. Darden, whose wife is white, says his interracial marriage has prompted some minor incidents in the past, but nothing like this.
This is a terrible thing for people to do, especially in the 1980s. We thought that this type of thing had blown over and people had respect for other people, but, you know, it's something that shouldn't be happening.
Ben Salem police say 4 houses only a few blocks apart were targets of the cross burnings, and they're investigating through a variety of channels.
The incident is being turned over to the detective division, and they will follow up on it. Also, the fire marshal will be advised.
One of the cross burnings happened only 2 doors away from Larry Mitchell's house. He's Pennsylvania representative for CORE, the Congress on Racial Equality, and he says he's demanding a full-scale probe into who torched those crosses.
We're going to be meeting with the police chief, and I'm going to try to set up a meeting with Congressman Kochmeyer and the DA's office. I think that when the perpetrators are caught, I want them prosecuted to the full limit of the law under the new Civil Rights Act of terrorism. I don't think that in 1984 anyone should have to live under these conditions of being terrorized.
Ben Salem Township police say all of these cross burnings have one common link, and that is they were all targeted at the homes of interracial couples. They say they're not sure who the exact target was, the husband, wife, or both partners in the marriage, but they say they don't consider any of these incidents merely mischievous acts. They say they're a crime, and they're going to continue to hunt to find who's responsible. In Ben Salem Township, Bucks County, I'm Robin McIntosh, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
And finally, Patrick Sears, an artistic and athletic 8th grader at Northeast Middle School, has been chosen as City Line Student of the Week. Patrick is the first-place winner of the citywide Geography Bee. Patrick attends the Saturday art program at City College High School, and he designed the cover used on the 1983-84 Baltimore City Public Schools calendar. During his spare time, Patrick plays soccer and lacrosse. Patrick would like to become a wildlife photographer or an ecologist. Accolades and congratulations to Patrick Sears, City Line's Student of the Week. And that is today's Newscap. I'm T. Montier. Tim Watts is up next with the entertainment page. Have a good day.
next, and his entertainment page is just like it always is, very entertaining, with Ray Parker Jr. and Herbie Hancock.
Good afternoon. Today we've got 2 more music videos for you. First, it's the boy wonder of guitar players, Ray Parker Jr. He was playing his guitar in the studio and on the road with many major acts at the age of 14. He's from Detroit and has emerged as a major artist over the past few years. Our second video is from Herbie Hancock. Herbie grew up professionally under the guidance of Miles Davis, although you wouldn't know it from his music today. His last video, Rocket, won an award last year, and he's back again with another hot tune. Here's Ray Parker Jr. with Can't Get Over Losing You and Herbie Hancock's Auto Drive. With Auto Drive. And in entertainment news, we get some good news from Teddy Pendergrass. He's coming out of his seclusion since his car accident. Although he's still in the wheelchair, he's getting back in the action. He just put the final touches on an LP that Luther Vandross produced, and he was the MC at a big charity function in Philadelphia recently, in which the personal items of celebrities were auctioned off. That's this week's entertainment page. My name is Tim Watts. Enjoy your Sunday.
Well, we got a really exciting March coming up for you, and all through the month of March, exciting things every week. Essay on Drugs, first of all, next week, with a production of award-winning producer Gil Noble, which will really make you think about the drug world. And if you want to participate in that and be in our audience, call us at 481-1313 right now.
Right, and then on March 11th, we're going to have a fun kind of show. It's going to be breakdancing and rap music. I think everybody can relate to that.
And the following week, March 18th, the female minister debate, or sexism in the pulpit.
Indeed, and on the 25th, should Jesse run? You know, everybody's saying, run, Jesse, run.
Well, by that time, some of the primaries will be over and the caucuses will be over, and we'll have some feel as to how Jesse is doing in the South.
We'll debate that
as well as the North.
Exactly.
And it'll be an ideal time to talk about it.
Now, as we said, any of these shows that will be coming up in the month of March, which is an exciting month, you can be a part of our studio audience if you'd like to be, and you can call us right now, make your reservations for whichever show you want, or the entire package. It's up to you at 481-1313, 481-1313.
That's if you want to be a part of our studio audience. And you know, of course, that you can always write us and tell us what you think about our shows, or tell us what you might think about us doing sometime in the future. Just write us at the City Line, WJZ-TV, Television Hill, 21211.
Now, don't forget, call us 481-1313 if you want to be in the audience.
If you want to be in the audience. That's City Line for this week. I'm Dan Henson.
I'm Jackie Hall. Have a good Sunday.